You've got Daisy and Ellie here and baby Max today. We thought baby Max might go to sleep, but he's here in the carrier with us. He heard that we were recording today and he said, I would like to be a part of that. Please, Mum.
He just wants to be around Ellie as long as he possibly can.
He wants me to bloody breastfeed him. Tell us about your morning. I feel like you had a bit of a regular mum morning that a lot of people have to go through. It's a bit of a rite of passage, and it brings on all sorts of like emotions and dilemmas, and especially like in Sydney. I don't know what it's like in the other states, but tell the people what you've been doing.
So we went to view 2 daycares this morning. So yeah, in Sydney, especially in the area that we live in, it's like really, really hard to get a spot in your chosen daycare. So I've actually been to view probably 7 or 8 now. Oh, Max is snoring in my face. And yeah, so we're on the waiting list for loads of places, but the 2 that we saw today said that they would have spots for us soon. But then I just don't know if I'm ready. Max will be 1 in September, so yeah, just trying to decide if start him now or wait till then or wait till January. It's just hard to know what to do.
It's such a dilemma because you start looking and then you have to join wait lists and they put the pressure on you like, well, we have a spot in 2 weeks, but you have to take it. We can push it back a couple of weeks, but you have to take it. Otherwise you'd lose it until maybe January or whatever. And so then like you've started the process of looking. I mean, you've been looking since you were pregnant, but yeah, it just suddenly puts all of this pressure on like, you can't just make the decision that, I want him to start on the 10th of October. Like it's kind of like
it's on their terms.
Yeah, you have to be prepared to either start him 2 months earlier than you actually want or 2 months later than you actually want. Or yeah, it feels like you don't really have a choice in the matter. You kind of need a short list of like 5 that you'd be okay with him attending. And then
that's what we thought, maybe potentially just like starting at 1 and you just see how it goes and you're not locked in to stay there forever and I can pull him out if I need to or I can change to a different one. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those bittersweet things because I'm like super excited about it, but also feel like I'm going to cry thinking about it. So we will see.
Yeah, it's so freeing, but yeah, it's terrifying as well, isn't it? I can't believe he's just fallen asleep sitting down in the carrier. That's ridiculous.
Little Bobby.
Even like when Ben and Pat were 6 months old, even if they were in the carrier, I would have to be like up dancing, like shaking, rocking.
It's honestly because he's
singing.
It's because he's here listening to you talking. That's why. He is obsessed with his Auntie Ellie.
Okay, what else has happened in your week? Anything?
Max has had an ear infection and his first round of antibiotics.
Heartbreaking.
And a virus. They actually swabbed him to see if there was like a particular bacterial or viral infection as well. And he had 2 viruses and an ear infection. So he's been really unwell. And then I had tonsillitis. So yeah, we've had a bit of a week. But I think everyone's getting better now. I feel like I sound like Donald Duck right now, but it might just be in my head. Yeah, just exhausting. It's just, I think this winter, everyone has just been so sick.
Everyone has, yeah. No one's recovering really before the next thing hits them. I mean, I guess silver lining is that when he does start daycare in a little bit,
he'll have a little bit of an immune system.
A bit stronger because he's been a bit sick.
I hope so. When we were walking around today, I did see a lot of runny noses and thought, oh my God, but it's just going to happen sooner or later. So
yeah, you got to go through it. If you don't go through it now, you go through it at school.
Exactly.
What snacks have you got today?
Oh, today, well, Ellie messaged me on the way here and said, do you have food? Should I bring any? And I said, I have food. And then she turned up with, what did you bring? 2 Barek pastry thingies from the Grumpy Baker, and they are so delicious. One's like potato, sea salt, and rosemary, and the other one is spinach and feta or something. Classic. And it's just so delicious. And then she also bought a big brownie, which we are demolishing, and it's yummy.
I had to stop for coffee, and it was the easiest place to stop. And then I just find it really hard to walk past a good savoury pastry without getting a little sample. And I feel like I still justify visiting you sometimes with baby Max as like visiting a new mum. Like, you can't turn up empty-handed, especially when you feed me most of the time I'm here. And I just told you I'm going to steal half of your fruit for the kids to eat this afternoon in the car.
Pretty good exchange.
And I happen to just I find it really hard to walk past a freshly baked sourdough loaf, even if I have no plans of eating
Even
it.
if you've got 3 loaves of bread at home.
Yes.
Ellie gets in trouble with her partner for throwing out bread all the time because she can't help but
Well,
buy
I
another
don't do that anymore because I know the sourdough hack, and you just rinse it under water and then stick it back in the oven and it re-crunches. But yeah, you talk you're big on putting it in the freezer to keep it fresh, but I just like it not sliced, and I just always
You want to slice it like that?
I like an inch thick slice, warm with fresh butter. It's can't go past it. So yeah, I had to bring it in to Daisy's because it was still hot and crunchy, and I was like, you only have a small window of time to enjoy it while it's like this. So I'll have to take it in and share a bit with her, and then take it back in the car.
It was very delicious. Which one was that?
It was the close your ears.
The white
nutritionist. It was the white one.
It was so good.
They did have a lot of choice, but I do enjoy a rye and a soy and linseed, but the white one was calling my name today.
Very good.
Okay, we're not here to talk about food. Well, we kind of are.
What's happening in your week?
Oh, my week. What day is it? Tuesday. Yeah, look, the biggest news that I probably haven't shared with you is that...
Me or them?
You. Is that...
She's pregnant.
That would be a funny joke. Not. Little Patrick, who is 2.5, who has co-slept with me since he was born, with decent stints in his cot as well, but he's probably been in with us lately since about October, because it just, my sleep became more important than being inside his room settling him all night. And it also occurred to me that he's probably going to be the last one that I do snuggle in the bed with. So then all of a sudden I didn't want him to necessarily move out. Anyway, for some reason, conversations were had over the weekend about Ben's got this bunk bed in his room that was at the house when we bought it. And I think it was just too hard for the old owners to move out. And it was a really cool one. So we were like, yeah, we'll have it. We're actually planning to get rid of it to just get him a normal bed. But conversations were had on the weekend that Ben, who's 5, wanted to sleep on the top bunk, and Pat wants to sleep on the bottom bunk.
Oh.
And we're like, yeah, righto, let's see how this goes. And the first night, I think...
Max is snoring.
The first night didn't last very long, but the last 2 nights he's slept in there.
How does Ben feel about sharing a room? Is that okay?
Yeah, like Andrew said last night, if this becomes a thing, then we'll have to start calling it Ben and Pat's room. And Ben was like, yeah, that's cool. I'll share my bedroom with Patrick. He already shares all of his toys and stuff with him really well. And I said, maybe this means we can downsize to a 2-bedroom apartment and blow off the mortgage a bit. But I think we'll end up keeping 2 spare bedroom/storage rooms. So yeah, it's
fun.
nice, but I do feel a bit sad about it all. I don't know why, because it's come out of nowhere. I knew it had to happen. He's almost 3. It was always on the cards. We were going to get him a big boy bed and try and transition him back to his own room, but I didn't expect this to come on so quickly. And it's just sad.
Now you're going and wake him up and bring him into you.
It's hard to sleep. It's back to that baby stage where you're trying to go to sleep, but you're also waiting for them to wake up. So you're kind of just laying there waiting for him to pull out. It's a bit sad because he's definitely probably not going to come back now. So that's it done.
Oh. Well, hopefully you can get some good sleeps.
Yeah, maybe. I feel so shattered this week, but I think it's just
changes.
New change, and they are waking up ridiculously early considering how dark and cold it is. Ben's just got a new star chart, so we're trying to use that as some form of bribery for certain behaviours. I don't know if that's wrong or right. We'll have to get a childhood behavioural expert on here. But
what do you mean? How does that work?
We just do We've done it before, but I never really commit too hard to it, which you do have to.
Do you mean like if you do this, you get a star, and when you get this many stars, you get a prize?
Yeah, because he wants pocket money, so he started keeping his room tidy, which actually has turned into him just not letting anyone make a mess in his room. So like we had friends over on the weekend, like no one's allowed in my room. I'm like, then we can tidy, like we can all tidy together, at the end of the day. No one's making a mess in there. No one's playing with the toys. I'm like, oh, this is
taking it very seriously.
But that was kind of going well, and so like he makes his bed and bits and pieces, but it's more just like of a morning trying to get them in the car and get like everyone eat that. He's actually good at eating his breakfast, and we don't do TV in the mornings at the moment, and that's really helpful to just get them out the door. I think because they just play nicely, and it's just emotions run calmer.
Mm-hmm.
And like eating their dinner, getting up to the bath. I think it's more Pat, the 2.5-year-old, like winding everything. Like he just winds everyone up during those moments. So it's more, I guess, to help Ben just be more controlled in those moments. And, like there's, no whinging. He just loves a star. He's just at that age. So yesterday he got 8 out of 10 available stars. Patrick got 3.
Does he understand?
No. And he's getting worse by the day at the moment, but he liked the process. So I think it is just a nice way to like, stars or not, just to sit and reflect on the day. Like, how do we feel like this morning went? Did we all get in the car when Mummy asked? Was there any fighting? Did everyone share with each other? And it's just a good thing to prompt Ben's mind to like when we were getting out of the car when we got home yesterday, he said, "Oh, I've got a good idea. Why don't we do stars if no one annoys Mummy while she's cooking dinner?" That's brilliant.
So he's like coming up with ways to get more stars.
Like things that he thinks like they didn't get a star for that because they were atrocious during that hour.
But they could have got one.
It's a nice. We'll see how it goes. I'll report back.
I like it.
We talked about having a chat about second babies because Maximus
needs a sibling, but not yet.
Or not. Well, yeah, it'd be interesting to see like if he starts daycare, if like just that little bit of separation gives you the bandwidth to think like, oh, I could do another one.
Yeah.
I don't know. So how his birthday's in September,
yeah. So what's the age you always say that you think is a good gap? Like that you're always like, don't do it before this time.
So from experience of witnessing others, I see a lot of people get to the 11, 12-month mark, which he's about to hit, and they become like quite pleasant. You go through a really pleasant stage of like they're moving around a bit more. They're just like happy and playful and chatty and things just, I feel like you just turn a bit of a corner there and it's just a really nice period. And that's when everyone's like, oh, let's have another baby. This is fine. Like I've got this under control. And then they fall pregnant. And then when they're 18 months, nightmares.
This scares me because I don't feel like, oh, everything's great, I could have another baby. I feel like it's getting harder and harder and harder all the time. So I'm like, if 18 months is going to be worse. Not that he's actually like so easy.
He is easy.
But he's just like, I just can't imagine having anything more to do than I do.
Well, they say things don't get harder, they just get different, right? You just go through different stage. Like it's just a different thing that you're going through with them. It just means, I think, you just, he'll probably start school. He's feeding less, he's eating more. It's just all of those behavioural milestones as well. So we'll see how he is in a month or two and see like how you're feeling. I feel like you turn a bit of a corner as well as a mum, and I don't know, but yeah, 18 months hits, and this isn't everyone, but this is a lot of people. They're just like terrors because they're approaching that too. Like they're walking around, but they can't really communicate with you. And so they're getting like really frustrated and, oh man, it's just a bit of a time. And a lot of people at that point are already like well and truly pregnant with their second. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to have another baby. And this one's nuts. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember how we planned having Patrick. But not much thought went into it, I don't think. But we fell pregnant. So we had him when we had Patrick when Ben was 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
So you do your maths on that. And I found that age gap to be really lovely because Ben was just that little bit older that he really understood what was happening. He could communicate with us well. He was pretty independent. He was sleeping well in his own room, unlike Patrick.
He wanted to like help with Pat as well.
Wanted to help, yeah. And you could really talk to him about it throughout the process of the pregnancy, and he kind of understood what was happening. And yeah, you could really involve him in the process. And then yeah, like when Pat came and I was like changing nappies and feeding, he'd like run around helping me. And I was lucky that he was at daycare. So because I do think having two at home would be different. But I found the 2.5 gap to be really pleasant because they're just that bit older.
Yeah. I think one big thing for us is that we live in an apartment and it's like not tiny, but to have another human in here would be very squashed.
Yeah.
So we feel like we probably need to move before we have another one. But I could be pregnant here,
Yeah.
potentially.
You also like, look, we've just regressed back to 2-bedroom living. So
that's
don't go too, don't pull the trigger too fast.
And Jerome's been much more accepting of having the baby in the bed recently, so the second baby could be in the bed.
Just get a king bed. You just need one room king bed. Yeah. We still don't have a king bed, and like even us just like laying in the bed reading a book, it's
squashed.
Everyone's like, move over. I'm squashed. I'm like, I'm just used to sleeping on the bedside table.
And then we also have my brother-in-law's wedding next year, which I definitely not intending to put off pregnancies for weddings because I did that a lot with this one.
Yeah.
But I just feel like that's max will be 2 then. And then just after that, I feel like might be quite a good time to start trying. But I'm getting old, so I don't know. I go back and forth about it all the time.
Yeah, it's almost like at this point, just when you feel like you have enough energy to.
I know, but I'm just getting more tired, right?
Yeah. It's a bit of a tough one.
We asked this question on our Instagram and we had a lot of replies, and there's no 2 answers that are the same. Like everybody, because it's so different for everyone.
And I don't think anyone really will, whether they admit it or not, like no one really regrets when they do it. Like it's all they know, right?
Yeah, so, exactly.
I mean, third's different. I went to a birthday party on the weekend and it was for Ben's friend. And yeah, there were a couple of mums there who were pregnant with their third. And my face when they told me, I meant to say congratulations, but I didn't. My face just was like, holy fuck. And they're like, I know. And it's like, oh my God. And they were like, I know. And then I was like, oh shit, I mean, congratulations, but they understood my reaction because our kids are the same age. And that is just, my thought of having a third at the moment feels hectic. But, that's just how people change. Like I always thought I'd have heaps of kids. I always thought I'd want like 4 kids. And I've got 2. And I'm like, I'm at capacity.
I know, it's so funny though. Like,
but everyone's different. I see people thriving with 4 kids and they're just like, I can't wait to have more. Like they're just never done. So
I know. And when they're asleep and like tucked up in their bed and you've had quite a good day, you're like, oh my God, I want to have like 7 babies. And then, yeah, other days you're like, I am not having any more children.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so hard. It's so hard.
Depends on everything. Like things, it's just an expensive sport at the moment as well, isn't it?
Yes. That's, yeah. And like even I was thinking like, oh, we have to buy another car seat. That's like $600.
Yeah.
Just every single thing. And like if we had a girl instead of a boy, and we'd have to like buy a lot more stuff rather than just reuse.
Definitely just reuse.
Yeah, but the clothes?
Pink bows or something. Second kid, mate, they don't care what they're wearing. They just happen to be here.
And we still have no grandparents in the country,
which
is really hard.
I will say, so I have a lot of help and support around, don't I? I've got my parents are very helpful, and then Andrew's parents are very helpful. And I've got my 3 sisters around. Yeah.
And all her school friends.
I'm very lucky and fortunate, and I try not to take it for granted. Because I got you whinging at me from the other side of the fence. But I will say Sue's away. So Andrew's mum's away. She's been away for, God, it feels like years now. She's been away for like, I don't know, 8 weeks. She's still.
Is she listening? Hi, Sue.
I don't know. They've got no reception. They're touring Australia, so she might have to binge when she gets back. But she's our biggest fan. And so yeah, she's been gone for forever, and I don't even know when they're back. 2 weeks, 4 weeks. I've stopped looking at the calendar at this point because it's just a bit depressing. And then bloody mum skipped off to the country this week for a break. And suddenly it just,
No help, yeah.
it's when you are used to a lot of help and then suddenly everyone's got, and there's always, I've always got time to prepare and I always know about it. It's never sudden. But yeah, I always do feel just like a little bit abandoned with my own children. I'm like, hang on, guys. We are all doing this together.
I don't do Tuesdays.
Wednesdays are tough on my own. But yeah, like I've signed the kids up to swimming on Tuesday afternoon. So that's this afternoon. And last week was our first week at this new place. And mum knew, like with 2 of them, it can be a bit hard at the end of the class to like get everyone showered and into their jammies. And so she came along and helped, which that's what mum does. Like she's super helpful. And then, yeah, I've got it this afternoon by myself. And I'm like, oh, hang on a minute. Where's my sidekick? And I'm more than capable and I can do it, but everything's a lot harder on your own when you're used to help, is my point. So I do understand.
Yeah. Well, I'm not used to it, so I guess I don't know any other way, except we were just with everyone for 5 weeks.
Yeah. But that's the other thing as well. Like a lot of people that live around where they grew up that might have support in the way of grandparents or siblings to help. And then, are potentially being priced out of those areas and they're being forced to move away. And so it's like, oh, I've got this village that's available, but we have to move up the coast or down the coast or interstate or
not actually near them anyway. Yeah.
It's really, and like, unless you just try and convince, the whole village to move.
Yeah.
There's so many things to factor into having more kids these days. But then I think as well, there's, never a right time, and the more you plan, the harder it is. So a lot of people just get it done and deal with the consequences.
Yeah, I also have in my mind, like, when you think about planning at the perfect time and then you could be trying for a long time and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would rather just be a bit more relaxed about it and be like, if it happens, it happens. When it happens, we shall see. But not now. not
like today.
Not at the time, for the time being.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, speaking of having babies, we thought we might talk about baby showers. So
Ellie's was a long time ago now, because how old is Ben? 5?
That's crazy. Yeah, it's like 6 years ago. We were living in close to the city in at Newtown, and yeah, we were still like, we were one of the first, I guess, to have a baby in Andrew's group, at least. Like there were other babies around, but they were a bit older, and
it got loose. I ended the night by drinking some sort of, I don't even know, a spirit out of a doll's head. Yeah. I don't think you had gone at that point.
I'd gone, mate. I was. It was like, I don't know if I was 7 or 8 months pregnant, and yeah, it was. We had it at a pub, the Rose, and we just like hired their little courtyard area, and we just got some finger food, and we put a small tab on the bar. It was pretty simple. I don't know how many people came, like 50? I don't know. Boys and girls. My sister made this cake that was, I mean, this is going to make a lot of people not like it, but it was I'm trying to picture it. It was like a cake with a vagina and a head, like a doll's head. That's where the doll's head came from. Doll's head coming out of it. And it was, I don't even remember eating it. But yeah, it was great. It was, I mean, it did its thing.
It was birth on a cake.
It was birth on a cake. With like a Chucky doll coming out. Yeah, and I remember like it was just like on your feet. So I remember like my ankles were really swollen and I just it was pouring rain. I remember I just wanted to get home and put my feet up and order a pizza, which is exactly what I did. And someone dropped me home and helped me inside, and I left Andrew out living his best life with everyone else. And yeah, I don't know what time he got home, but it was pretty late. And
I can only remember it so well because there are photos, which is how I have most of my memories these days. For some reason, I can't remember anything. But yeah, it was definitely a late night and shots from the doll.
Yeah, if you guys wondering what I'm like, so that's what my baby shower was like.
That is a little insight into it, Ellie.
Yeah, there was lots of food.
It was lovely.
There was lots of drinks. Lots of family, lots of friends. It was really nice. I'm trying to think what we did for gifts. I remember we got a lot of gifts, but I don't think I organised.
You didn't have a registry?
I don't think so. I don't think I knew enough back then.
Did you get a lot of hand-me-downs and stuff, or did you like buy everything, or did you get bought a lot of stuff, or what happened?
I feel like I organised all my own stuff. So I think I didn't organise a list or anything. So I think people just gave nice. So I think it was just like nice gifty stuff like books and teddies and because he was probably the first of the group,
the people didn't
know to buy me gift vouchers for food and cleaners and all that stuff. So
how old were you? 27. No, you're older than that.
I don't know, 28.
28.
Gosh, it sounds young. Yeah. What did you do for yours? That was very recently.
It was 9 months ago. 10 months ago. It was at the South Maroubra Surf Lifesaving Club, which is a great venue if anyone's in the area. They do weddings and birthdays and all sorts. So yeah, we just hired that out on a Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember. And I enlisted Ellie and her partner Andrew to help me do the grazing table because they're quite famous in this neck of the woods for doing that. And it was epic. Like, all the guests afterwards were like, oh my god, the grazing table was the main event of that baby shower. So yeah, that's all it was really. Just
we can thank Ingrid for teaching me that. Thank you, Ingrid, if you're listening. We actually put a guide, my builder guide to doing a grazing table on the Whole Bowl website. So it's in the blog somewhere. So if you are planning to do it, it's like,
yeah, you can find it.
It's got a shopping list and everything and how much stuff to get for how many people, like whether it's 0 to 20 or 40 or 80. The cheat sheet's there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. I was standing there eating all the soft cheeses though, and people were looking at me disapprovingly, but it was okay. And then I just had we just had one little game thing where we asked people to write a name that they were suggesting for the baby and like throw it in the pot, and then we went home and read them all, which was quite fun.
Did you use any of them?
No. We'd already decided really the name.
So wasting our time.
Yeah, just to have a little bit of fun. But yeah, that was lovely.
Did you do a registry?
Yes. So I'm a bit of a spreadsheet fanatic. So I made a big spreadsheet. I asked everyone I know who I knew would have good insights, like yourself, and put together a massive list of stuff. And then Jerome researched all the technology stuff, and yeah, we put together a big registry, and we ended up buying a lot of the stuff ourselves anyway. But yeah, I think it's nice for people. If I'm going to a baby shower, I want people to have a registry because I just want to get
because you're going to buy a gift anyway.
Exactly.
So let me spend my money on something that's helpful instead of just wasting money on.
Exactly. And you don't know what people already have, and they definitely don't need 400 onesies in the same size.
No, and if you're not specific, then yeah, you'll just get the fluffy gifts because they're not going to go out and
baby's awake.
pick you a change mat or something, they're going to get something. Oh my golly. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was fun.
But yeah, standing on your feet all day when you're pregnant, I think it was you that said to me, do it around 32 weeks. Because if you're more pregnant than that, it's just so unenjoyable to be standing around watching everyone having a drink.
Do shots out of the doll's head.
And yeah, and then Max came at 38 weeks, so
lucky
we got it in there.
I had all the things.
Had all the things ready to go. Yes, thank you to all my lovely friends that helped us with all the things.
How did you do your registry?
I'm trying to remember now.
Because there are a few apps, I think.
Yeah,
so,
I used a website. I can't remember what.
I know that we get a few through Whole Bowl. Like a lot of people have put Whole Bowl on their registry, and so it kind of comes through as like that's where people have like found our website through registry list. I don't know. We'll have a look and put some in the notes in case anyone's interested. We were also going to build like we've got our baby essentials list and our hospital bag list. So we're going to build like a bit of a registry list for everyone just on Amazon so that, you know, if you're trying to build out your own, you can just look on there for inspiration as to items that we've already researched and or had recommended to us. Like Daisy put in a lot of research to her big ticket items because she is like that. And I trust what she selected.
I mean, there's nothing that we bought that we're like, oh, that was really shit. Why did we buy that? Like, I think
unlike us, like I've gone through 2 baby monitors that have both been awful. Like I didn't even use one with Patrick because they didn't really work. And they both cost like hundreds of dollars. Waste of money.
Yeah, a lot. Oh my God. If you wanted to, you could spend so much money, couldn't you? Actually, I would say one thing that we got quite a lot of bits and pieces for like breastfeeding, like bottles and what else, like dummies and stuff that we just haven't really used, but you just don't know if you're going to need it or not.
I know. That's like when we were talking to Natalie on the episode that we did about breastfeeding. She said, don't stock up on that breastfeeding stuff before, like, or just buy a few bits and bobs because, you don't know which path you're going to end up taking, and you don't know. I was the same. I bought like heaps of pumps and stuff because I was so sure that that's what I was going to do, and I did. But I also ended up having to hire like a hospital grade pump, and they only take certain teats, so you choose a bottle and you think that's going to work, and then you end up having to buy 10 different brands of bottles and different teats, and so just maybe get a couple to get you started. Nipple shields, that's another one.
The silverettes as well. They were good. I like those. Actually, the nipple shield. What are you saying? Nipple shields, yes or no?
I'm saying don't buy them too early.
Yeah.
Like don't go in expecting to use nipple shield. I never touched a nipple shield.
Yeah, well, I didn't buy any of those, and then someone ended up giving them to me because she didn't use them, and they were actually a lifesaver for me. But you just don't know like what you'll need.
Yeah, fun. I find that's like a fun part of the nesting is like organizing a bit of a gathering, even if it's just like a small barbecue of family. It's just something to signify what's about to happen.
It's the last time you'll see a lot of people without a baby, so it is like a really special thing.
Yeah, and we both had the partners and their friends as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we didn't do a girly thing. Mixed boys and girls and kids and dogs and all sorts.
My gosh, the kids were running feral.
They were.
Yeah. Okay, that's fun. Anything else to?
Oh, you want me to report on my new green pan?
Oh my gosh,
air fryer.
You should see the new contraption in the kitchen, guys.
It's actually so great. I don't know why I've been putting off getting an air fryer for so long, but I think it's because I wanted this one. So the trays that are in most air fryers are the same as like a Teflon pan. So it's got those forever chemicals that we talked about previously on another podcast. And so I try not to use all those non-stick frying pans and stuff. So I was like, I'm not going to get an air fryer with the same thing.
So I've had one that it's a cheapie with all the bad chemicals that my mum got me, and I find them really helpful because everyone's like, why do you need another thing? I mean, that's what Andrew says.
That's what I thought. That's what I
just turn the oven on, just whatever. But the thing is, guys, it heats up. They heat up so quickly.
It's a tiny oven. So it's like
you get home from wherever you are and the kids are going mental, and instead of waiting 20 minutes for the oven to heat up so that you can put something in, you heat it up for like 5 minutes or something. Yeah, throw the food in. It feels to cook twice as fast as well. And I get olive oil. I've got like one of those spray bottles that you just put your olive oil in and then it like sprays out.
Mm-hmm.
That's really handy to have. And so I just do like a little bit of a spray and then it feeds the kids so quick. But I didn't realize how bad mine was until you started educating me on yours.
I mean, don't everyone go and throw your air fryer in the bin immediately, but this is great. The green pan air fryer, because it is non-toxic. And yeah, it's been so good. I mean, I've used it loads. Ellie was trying to get me to remember what I've made in there. I've made a lot of crispy cauliflower, a lot of crispy tofu because I'm vegetarian. I actually baked cookies in there the other day, and that worked really well.
It's pretty big in there too.
Yeah, it's actually much bigger than I thought. But yeah, I think I've turned the oven on once since I got that.
So good. With ours, I've realized that you can do meatballs in them, which is great because it's just like less messy and it's a bit quicker. Because like I made meatballs for the kids last night, and it's just the process of browning the meatballs, because I usually brown them and then stick them in the oven to finish them, can just like take a bit of time. And when the kids are having meltdowns, it's easier to just pop them in something that's going to turn off when it's done. And if you're distracted, you can just get other things done while it's happening. No, I do their nuggets. I do fish for them.
You've put a whole bowl lasagna and a whole bowl chicken pie in there.
Yes, I have. That actually works really good. I think you have to be careful with how hot you're getting it with the packaging, because our packaging can just go straight into your oven. But you can also, when it's frozen, just flip it out of that packaging and put it into a different tray. But yeah, I have used it for that. They're pretty amazing. And we got a discount.
So Green Pan sent us a discount code, and we will put it in the show notes because I can't remember what it is right now.
Yeah, we just add it to the show notes. We just told them that we're loving Daisy's new air fryer, and that we were going to chat to the people about it. And they said, "Oh, please give them this code to use if they're interested." So definitely have a look. And there's this one that Daisy got, which is, what size is that? Extra. I think it's the extra large one, but then there's like an even bigger one.
There's like a double one, which I would love if I had a bigger kitchen. Yeah, so you can have like 2 ovens next to each other, basically.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Maxie, have you got anything to say to wrap up? Little pink cheeks.
He's got very rosy cheeks. Can you see yourself? Now he's quiet.
All right. Well, that was a nice chat. We've got another really cool expert to interview for next week. So
that'll be fun.
I know that will be fun. So we hope you guys tune in and make sure you listen to our previous episodes, because we've had some really good ones. And please give us a rating and follow the podcast so that you're notified when we drop a new one, which we will drop every Thursday morning, as much as we can. All right. Say bye.
Bye.